Hi, it's Sarah Nissen from sarahnissen.com. Tonight I'm coming to you from San Diego as usual. I have made a little switch in the focus of what I'm going to talk about, mainly because what's happening for me is I'm really truly working on accepting myself and who I am and coming out of shame, I think. Shame around just self-judgment. So what I'm going to talk about tonight is autism. My life is severely impacted by autism on a daily basis, and yet I've been hiding from talking about it. One of the things I do is I just stay quiet so I don't upset somebody. So, when I'm talking about autism, I'm like, oh no, I'm going to offend some autistic person, or I'm going to offend who knows who. I'm just so afraid of offending somebody that instead of talking about what I believe, I just stay quiet. So anyway, what I'm going to do is talk, and I'm sorry if it offends you, but you can just go somewhere else. And probably what I say is not going to be offensive anyway, but I'm looking for people who believe similar things to me, and I would love to work with you if you would like help on anything that I'm talking about. I'd love to help people. So what I'm talking about tonight, I just sort of came to me. Toxins in our food and in our environment. And what do we mean by environment is the environment that we can control, So we, as parents of autistic kids, can control our homes, and we can control what our kids eat, especially when they're still in our house. And that's been my philosophy around feeding my son this whole time he's still pretty much under my care because he's homeschooled. So even though he's 10, he still doesn't really go out on his own with many people and make decisions about what to eat without me there. So we have the responsibility as parents to control in some ways what we feed our kids. And the way that I've chosen to feed my son has progressed from when he was younger to now to a gluten-free, dairy-free diet, for one thing. That's a pretty popular diet with in the autistic community. A lot of information has been shown that casein, the protein in milk, is similar to, my brain is not even working, but it's similar to a drug, and it essentially creates this sort of pattern of addiction to the milk protein and like a stimulant effect. And for Zane, it was, he actually noticed after we cut it out for a while, then he put it back in, he got some cheese. He decided that he feels really tired after he eats it, and I noticed it, and I kind of let him, I gave some control up to him to let him just decide if he wanted to cut it out, and then decide that if he wanted some, he could have some. So I let him have some one day, and now he's decided he doesn't want to have it anymore because he doesn't like how it feels. Same with gluten. We actually made some homemade bread and homemade sourdough bread. He had some, and he said he didn't feel good. His stomach hurt right away. So we don't have any specific, like, oh my gosh, vomiting, things like that, but subtle changes that he has noticed in his body, which I'm so thankful for, that he's able to notice that stuff about himself. And that's one reason why I have taken the things out, in order to be able to notice what is happening when you add it back in. Otherwise, you don't really know. So removing the toxins from the diet is what I started talking about. Now, gluten and dairy are not toxins by any means, but they can be in the body of, a sensitive person. They can trigger inflammation and be sort of like if the body's already accumulated a bunch of toxins, they can make it worse, aggravate. So what we do is we use all organic vegetables and fruits. We used raw milk when we were doing milk. Now we don't do any milk at all. What else? Meats. The meats are very important. We choose to use pastured organic beef and pork and chicken. For beef, pastured means that the grass-fed or pastured means that the cow lived on a grass field and was eating grass. Cows are not meant to eat anything else but grasses and the seeds on top of the grass when they're in seed. That's it. So when a cow is fed something else, like a lot of cows are, especially at the end of their life to fatten them up, the meat and the fat in their body is different than what it's meant to be, and it's less healthy. So it's really, I would consider that almost a toxin, because it's really important that an animal that you're going to eat eats, you know, you are what you eat, right? And I think that's true. So if you're going to be eating an animal, and I even choose to do that, you know, in a responsible way, because I do feel bad eating an animal. I used to be vegetarian for ethical reasons, and I don't particularly feel happy taking the life of an animal and ingesting it, but I do, you know, I bless it and I eat it and I thank it and move on. I don't hold on to that, you know, that guilt. But I do feel that if the animal lived a life, a happy life, eating what it was meant to eat, digesting it how it was meant to digest, then the energy behind that food, you know, going through my son's body and my body nourishes it in a different way than if it was in an environment where it was stressed and it, you know, ate food that was not meant to eat. So as far as pork, pastured pork is a little bit harder to find in the store. Grass-fed is pretty common these days, although when meat, I mean beef, but not pork. So you've got to order that online usually, and we order it from uswellness.com. They have, and it tastes completely different. I mean, you'll notice a very distinct difference in taste from pastured pork to pork that was not pastured. Pastured pork also goes out and forages on pasture, whatever you call it. I mean, the pigs, if you've seen them, they snort around in the dirt and eat things that are growing in the dirt and the roots of things and plants and whatever. They eat lots of stuff. But they also eat slop and junk that people give them. So it's important to get organic, non-GMO, non-soy fed, specifically pigs. And US Wellness is the only place that I've found that you can ship throughout the United States. And their prices are pretty good. They have 15% discounts here and there that I post actually on my Facebook page at Real Food Mentor when they come out. You can also get on their mailing list, and they'll send you the discount code. And with chicken you want to have the chickens, they call it pasture raised. The same with eggs. I had chickens as pets back in a couple years ago when he lived in Colorado. And chickens love to run around. They love to flap their wings and run and squawk and scratch in the dirt and eat bugs. They're not vegetarian. They love to eat chicken even. They eat meat. They eat raw eggs. They eat lots of stuff. So, you know, you need to be careful with what your chickens are eating as well. And the most important thing for chicken, in my opinion, is soy-free and organic and pastured, because they are eating a lot of grass. Their meat is better. For me, it's important the energy, how their life was lived too. I feel like that's, you know, if they live in a toxic environment for them, if it stinks and everything, then the meat is not going to be as good for you. And what else? The eggs. So eggs coming from pasture-raised chickens. They're more expensive, same with all this stuff, because there's more of a loss in the industry when the chickens are out in pasture. There's more likelihood that they are going to get eaten by a fox, or their eggs are going to get laid somewhere else besides where they're supposed to be laid. So the money that's put into raising them gets lost, and they do cost more. But to me, it's valuable. So that's where I spend my money, supporting the farmers that raise the animals that way. And for my son, eating that type of food. Very little processed food, a lot of just natural meats with sauces, natural vegetables with, a marinade. And then for the house, so that's the non-toxic food, right? I mean, no dyes, definitely no dyes, definitely no artificial colors or flavors. We don't do cereal at all. Nut milks we make at home, and we just make cashew milk, or we use coconut milk from a can sometimes. He drinks water, and he makes a lemonade with lemons and a little bit of maple syrup and honey and salt and water. Just a little sprinkle of salt. And that's one of his favorite drinks. And he has tea, some teas that he likes to drink, peppermint and chamomile, because we have a pretty limited elimination diet that we're doing right now. And so keeping it clean, because these autistic people are so sensitive. They're highly sensitive. I think exponentially highly sensitive to the environment, to the sounds, the textures, the smells, the energy, I even think, so, of the foods. So it's really important for him to eat clean, and to have as little bombardment in his sensitive system as possible. A lot of autistic people are pretty toxic because they have a hard time eliminating the toxins that come in just on a natural, daily basis anyway in this world that we live in. So it accumulates and accumulates and accumulates, and the ways we can control it are with food or with environment, like in our house. I mean, I was just talking, we just got a new vacuum because we have carpet in this rental house that we're in, and carpet is really horrible. But I mean, not all of us can just rip out our carpet, but it's pretty awful. So we went to get it cleaned, and we didn't get it cleaned because all the companies use scented soap in it, and we've eliminated all scented products right now while we're doing an elimination diet type of thing. Not really a diet, but life diet. And so we couldn't find somebody to clean it with anything because they want to use scented products. And the guy was like, "Oh, it's not scented." And I said, "I can smell it all over your clothes, so no thank you." So we didn't get our carpet cleaned. But things in your house, cleaners, there's just so many different things that you need to switch out and utilize different products for. Tub and tile cleaners, the toilet bowl cleaner, the floor cleaners, the carpet soap, the window cleaner. What other kind of cleaners are there for your house? I don't know. Like any of that stuff. You can get natural versions of it. You can make your own. I don't have time for that. So I use like 7th generation, or this other thing that I bought that I can't remember the name of, but it makes this bleach solution. Some people don't like the bleach. I don't use much of it. I use it just for the toilet. And then the natural body products. I mean, there's so many different things. Lotions, sunscreens, soaps, shampoos, conditioners, toothpastes, lotion. Did I already say that? Like all those things that you put on your body, you want to be able to, you would basically use things only that you would be willing to eat. If it's going to go on your skin, you want to use something that you could ingest. And especially if you're a very sensitive person and you're autistic, those two things I don't think are separate, So, I mean, I actually make a tallow balm that's made with beef tallow, because it's actually the most similar fat to our human skin oil. I mean, it makes sense to me that you are an animal. You know, we are mammals and we're animals. And putting vegetable oil on our skin just doesn't seem like it would be the right idea to me personally. So I use a majority I use a majority animal fat on my skin. I know that's kind of weird to some of you, but probably not to the people who are going to be watching this through to the end. And what else? So, I mean, I was talking about the toxins. I think that was pretty much it. I mean, I'd love to have you share this video with anybody who you think it would help. And if you have any questions, please, please, please contact me. I'm still working on my website, getting it sort of more focused on this autism, real food, gifted, homeschool, mom tribe that I'm trying to create. So if you know anybody who has a Asperger's kiddo who's needing some help with the diet or homeschooling, send them my way. And I would love to talk with them, and I would love for them to watch this video. And yeah, so this is a lot longer than I expected it to be, but anyway, I'm glad that I could share this. I feel like this is one of the more real things I've spoken about, and I'm speaking my mind, and I feel good about it. My website is sarahnissen.com, SarahNissen.com, and I would love for you to sign up for my real food resource list. That lists off all the places, clickable list of places that I buy the food that I was talking about. I'd also like to know what else you want to see from me, and I'm thinking of like doing more cooking on lives and videos, and I'm going to send these videos over to my YouTube channel once I get that a little bit more set up, so that people can access them later. I'm thinking about a membership group so that we can have a monthly challenge, something like, you know, real food breakfast challenge for a month, and what else, like healthy holidays, switch out your cleaners 1 month, switch out your body products. So we can do it in a non-overwhelming way where we kind of, you know, get the changes made that you want to make, but do it in a way that you're not overwhelmed, and support you in a Facebook group, private Facebook group, so that you can get support from community people, like, you know, like-minded people is so important, and because you're not alone, you know, even though we all feel like we are, especially with special needs kids and homeschooling and being, you know, not the conventional, typical, whatever you want to call that person that you run into every day. But we're not alone. So yeah, so if you're interested in the membership, or you know somebody who needs it, share it with them, and I will give you more information about that. Sign up for the Real Food resource list on my website, sarahnissen.com. You'll see a link for it on the main page there, and then that way you'll get emails from me. You'll get a few gifts, recipes from my new book, and the resource list. And I think that's it. So thanks so much if you watched this till the end. Leave a comment. I would love to see that you've actually watched it. I really appreciate feedback from you guys. And I will talk to you tomorrow. All right, bye.